TGC Requiem. We are back with some Legacy Elves. I'm going to try and mention more frequently now. Twitter handle down in the bottom right corner, if that's something you do, tweetering, Twitterversing. I do run polls, not every week, but some weeks, almost at least every other week, to kind of vote on a couple choices of decks to play for the videos. So if it's something you want to have some say in what I'm playing, feel free to jump on there and follow. Haven't played much Legacy lately, very little since November of last year. Not that I don't like it, just been kind of into Modern, and so decided to play a little bit here. Looking at this hand, I'm pretty happy with it. Forest into Pendelhaven. Almost always leading Forest turn. Game 1 when you don't know what your opponent's on, and we're also kind of set up to potentially have a pretty good first hand or two. I guess depends on our opponent. We lost game 1 the first match, or game 1 of our last match on turn 1. So we're on a draw. We're keeping here all 7 cards. Marsh Flats. What do we got going on? Badlands. So maybe blue or black-red Reanimator? Or are we looking at some sort of 4-color mid-range strategy? So the opponent took Scavenging Ooze, which makes me really think he's probably on black-red Reanimator. Yep, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, absolutely black-red Reanimator. Fortunately, these Dryad Arbors aren't great draws. We can't really glimpse into much. Oh man, the Tidespout Tyrant against this deck is pretty bad because they can end up bouncing a bunch of permanents on you in a single turn. I've had like 5 or 6 permanents bounced on me in one turn by them before. And then whenever an opponent casts a spell, counter it unless he pays 1. Unless that player pays 1. So I guess the question here is whether or not we think it's worth glimpsing at this point to get our Heritage Druid or not. I think we actually just want to run out the Elvish Visionary. I suppose if we run... Yeah, because we're not going to be able to cast it next turn. Here we go. Well, at least he cast the Dark Ritual before his reanimation spell. So if he gets Tidespout Tyrant, he's not going to be able to cast as much and bounce as much. Getting both of those creatures is pretty alright. We could potentially get a Reclamation Sage on the Animate Dead. We're on a 2-turn clock. Since we can only cast one creature this turn, we don't have 4 mana up. So let's see. You may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, when each opponent casts his or her first spell of the game, counter that spell unless that player pays 1. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, counter. So if it was just the first turn, just the first spell would be countered, and then we could cast 2 creatures this turn, and then and kind of hope to get something going. But since we can't, I think we just play Dryad Arbor here. It's just so frustrating. So we can play Dryad Arbor here and probably Nettle Sentinel. And then next turn we can hope. Oh man, every spell is gonna get. Yeah, I just don't even know, unless we maybe hit a Nettle Sentinel. I don't even think it's even possible for us to. We're going to do 4. He's got us on a 2-turn clock. We can't block, right? He's got flying, yeah. We could do 5 damage right now, but he's going to make us bounce something. So now we can only do 3 damage. Yeah, we're just done. Nothing we can do here. Yep. And this is what I'm talking about. So now he can use that, bounce that. He's going to crack that for like black or something, cast some other spell, bounce the Visionary, and we're just effectively locked out of this game. Yep, so not a whole lot of reason to show our opponent anything else. Opponent would have beat us on turn 5 there. So we will be on the play in the sideboard games. We can't name Lotus Petal with Pithing Needle. We could name Grizzlebrand. That may be worth it. We'll have to see. I definitely think we want all of these to go after their main cards. No show and tell out of the sideboard for these builds. Probably running an Iona. Nothing we can really do about that. May have an Elesh Norn in the side. Yeah, I mean, really the only thing Pithing Needle hits is Grizzlebrand. Uzawa's Jite doesn't really do anything. I do wonder if Progenitus would be decent, but I'm not counting on it. I think we're just in another situation here where we definitely want to pull some number of Visionary and some number of Symbiote, because they're going to be the slowest comboing cards. If we cut those, the creature suite gets pretty weak. 25. Somehow we had more creatures than that against Storm. I guess maybe we had 24 creatures because we had pulled a Crater Hoof. I definitely don't want to lose to having a Crater Hoof in hand. Deathray Shaman. 3, 4. Reclamation Sage is worthwhile. Abrupt Decay could be okay if they're running a bunch of the other card, but I don't think they would be. I don't know that it's right, but I'm going to cut one of the Glimpse of Natures as well. So key cards we're looking for: Deathrite Shaman, Scavenging Ooze, Surgical Extraction. ideally with a land. The fact that we don't have a land here makes this unkeepable. If I had 2 surgical extractions, maybe. But as it is, they're likely to have like Thoughtseize, or they run that free hand disruption spell, though they usually use it on themselves. Oh, that's so bad. We absolutely can't keep this either. So, just because we don't generate any mana, we're just going to lose out on this one. I think we're just going to have to hope for some sort of draw here, but if we do the... I still don't think we can win with this, is the problem. Suppose if he goes all in on Animate Dead. It doesn't matter what is on top of our library, we just got to get the Nettle Sentinel out there. Excuse me. Well, this is not really how you want to play that. If we had just had a single land, honestly, I probably would even have kept a Dryad Arbor there with the surgical extraction in hand. Chrome Mox exiling a Thoughtseize. No need to Thoughtseize an opponent with no cards, am I right? So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit here, but I just have us losing this. Collective Brutality. Target opponent reveals his hand. Pitch in a Grizzlebrand. So we do have the Reclamation Sage. No way to cast it. At this point, our only out is the opponent not having a reanimate spell this turn. Then we could get the Grizzlebrand. If he reanimates it with an Animate Dead, now we do have that path locked out. He can draw 7 cards, but then we're going to be able to Reclamation Sage the Animate Dead. Look at that value, getting that Nettle Sentinel. Looks like maybe a Faithless Looting here. Into a Reanimate. I think really the only out we have is our opponent to get greedy, go for a second draw 7. And then can we even do that? I'm just trying to think if there's even a way we could. I mean, we could definitely eat twice. Yeah, that's game. Effectively, the game is 100% over now. It's just a matter of our opponent finishing out the final steps. Oh yeah, cradle. Boom. So I almost have this entire deck online. I actually have Blue-Black Reanimator online and in paper as well. And so I have most of the pieces for this, except Unmask is so expensive and online. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous expensive. I'm trying to think if there's even a scenario where we could like Elvish Visionary into something. Heritage Druid, no. It's like no way like Natural Order or anything like that's happening. So it looks like he's going to go for an Iona here, name green. That 100% locks us out. Pretty sure we were already 99.9% locked out. None of the black spells we can cast actually do anything. Eat my Nettle Sentinel. Alrighty, so we'll be back with the next match soon. If I didn't mention before, again, TGC Requiem. Twitter, if you give me a follow, sometimes I post polls on what deck choices for the week, and so you can have some say in what I record each week, if that's something you're into. We'll see you at the fifth match shortly.